and welcome to TAP, the Awokilumo Podcast. I am super excited to be here this day again on the Awokilumo Podcast. I am Balkis Amzat, your co-host, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host also.
Oluwakemi Oyedeji. Nice to be here. I'm
Always,
excited
always,
about this evening.
always,
How are you,
always.
Balkis?
Yeah, I am very fine. Thank you. Always nice to see you on this episode of our Kilumo
Thank you.
podcast. Thank you so much for joining in this evening again. And today we have the presence of one of the star students. You've got to be a star to be a part of the Our Kilumo podcast. So and today we have a star student of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, class of 2024. This man, he has always been that person that is phenomenal in his own ways as a student, as whatever it is that you can think of. And I'm blessed to say that he is in my capstone group. So yes, he's always phenomenal. And with that, I'm going to leave the mic. I'm going to yield the floor to Oluwakemi Oyedeji to introduce this phenomenal guest of ours today.
You can see the way I'm dressing. I have to be addressing myself just to comport myself properly to introduce our wonderful guest. This person, you'll get to meet this person later. You dear viewers, listen very well. If you want to go and get a cup of tea, go and get a cup of tea because you do not want to miss this session for anything. This person is so unassuming. But when he opens his mouth, join me. You will just continue with us on the journey and you get to meet this person. So this person's name is Aniekan Joseph. Let me tell you what was written about him, but he will introduce himself with his mouth soon enough. Aniekan Joseph is the country head of Ductil. He's a seasoned business development professional with proven experience in establishing strategic solutions. I can testify to that because when he answers questions, it is strategic solutions. A sales and public health professional with about 15 years of experience and a student of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. I'm going to yield the floor to him so that he can tell us more about himself. Over to you, Mr. Aniekan.
Awesome. So my name is Aniekan. I think of myself as an enthusiast, a public policy enthusiast. I think of myself as a Nigerian, authentically Nigerian. I think I'm so Nigerian that it has never crossed my mind to leave the country. I will travel, I'll return, but I believe that there's something uniquely valuable about Nigeria. And my goal in life is to bring that value to the world so that when people hear that someone is Nigerian, there is a reverence that comes with it. And it is that guides the way I conduct myself, I communicate, and hopefully make a difference in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aniekan. Very succinct, very, very thank you. So I want to ask you, what is Ductil all about?
Ductil is a health technology idea that we hope can revolutionize healthcare in Nigeria. Healthcare has been a huge burden, not only for those who do not have the means to access it, but even those who have the means still struggle to access healthcare. And our goal is to level the playing field. Whether you are a person of means or not, we are looking to create a platform where providers meet suppliers and the outcome is healthcare.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Well done to what you're doing in that space. I remember one of the lectures that we had during acculturation. One of our faculties did mention, referred the students to core values of Nigeria. And the 7 core values of Nigeria are human dignity, voice and participation, patriotism, personal responsibility, integrity, national unity, and professionalism. Can we say, Aniekan, that we are exhibiting this as Nigerians?
There's no easy way to answer that question, and I'll tell you why. It's easy to stay from a position of privilege and judge someone for not standing by these really lofty values. It's easy to assume that people have different fundamental or foundational experiences that has shaped their views and shaped the way they respond to or understand situations. And perhaps before we come to that conclusion, we have to show some empathy to understand that as people that we have come to be, that there are input experiences that we have had that has shaped us, the way we understand things and the way we react to things. And when we come with that empathy, the best way to answer that question would be that perhaps we are not living to that ideal, but with the right environment and framing, everybody aspires to be the best that they can be. And if people know better, they will do better.
Hmm. No wonder you are an unconventional leader. See, oh my goodness. I told you that you are in for it this evening, our dear viewers. Over to you, Valkis.
Oh my God, that was a very, I think, clear way to answer that question. And it kind of gave me perspective into a conversation I was having this morning where I was angry at my co-founder for not working on some things with the team. And we had a very, we had it all out yesterday for each other. And this morning we are trying to come together to understand what the problems were. And
Hmm.
I must say that you just opened my eyes to the fact that it's just not always as we look at it. It just might be that there are so many factors in place that we need to actually consider.
Mm,
So I want to say thank you for
Absolutely.
answering that question. But then
Thank
absolutely.
people
you.
should still not say they are not professional because of something. They should try and have
Of course.
values that are,
Of
that are,
course.
that, that are working values. But my question is
I
this:
agree.
no, there is this school of thought that we are dealing with identity crisis in Nigeria. I don't know what you think about that, but how true or false can you say this statement is? Are we really dealing with identity crisis?
That's a deep question. And we need to look at these two words independently. And the real question is, what is the Nigerian identity? And how can we describe crisis? Do we have an ideal identity called the Nigerian identity? Remember that we are a nation of over 200 million people, over 370 documented cultures. So, what then is the Nigerian identity? Is it by food or by fashion? Is it by culture or by appearance? Is it by language or by faith? So, until we take into consideration the unique complexity of our cultural melting point or melting pot, we may not be doing justice to ourselves in trying to define culture. And let's now go to the concept of crisis. When we say that we are in crisis, what do we mean? If we cannot define our identity, is it right then to say that we are in a state of crisis? Or is it even better to say, why have we not defined our identity? Why is it so difficult to do so? Should we define our identity? Or should we allow what the identity is really shine? And that is the challenge for all of us, not a question for Aniekan alone.
Hmm. You always have an answer to every single question. I mean, we were having a conversation before you joined in, and we said now we had a dilemma in actually putting together your questions because we know that you always have an answer for every question. And this is it. This is it, Aniekan. This is it. But then I'm going to go to my next question that says, so
Yeah.
do you see the Nigerian, civil service? Not that we don't know if we have identity problem or crisis problem or identity crisis. Do you see the Nigerian civil service going back to its former glory, where admission is
Hmm.
based on meritocracy, where there is a commitment to serve and there is less corruption? Because there was one thing that one of the lecturers said in one of his classes, that when we think about corruption, Nigerian politicians are learning. I think that was David Okoyemi, okay, our second episode. He said, when we think about corruption, Nigerian politicians are learning. The civil service is actually the home of that corruption. They are the one that teach the government, how the politicians, how to actually go about it. So now I am going to ask, do you see that particular part of our nation, Nigeria, actually going back to its former glory of meritocracy, of commitment to serve, and of less corruption? Because I think that's the only way for Nigeria to grow, to find its identity, and to maybe know if we are in crisis or we just need to move on.
You've not asked any easy questions today. And difficult questions typically need difficult responses.
Okay.
And there's a perspective that has been in my mind for a long time, but has not really come out in the public. The question is, who set up the civil service? Whose idea was the civil service? We have taken for granted the fact that the owner of an idea is different from the implementer or executor of an idea. And when the intention of the original idea through the mind of the owner is no more there, it is difficult for that system to deliver the value the owner of the idea had in the first place. When we look at the history of our civil service, it was set up as administrative tool for the colonial guys to be efficient to achieve their own objective. And we have to remember this. The objective was to create an administrative structure so that it's easier for us, colonial guys, to mine and export our products of interest. It was not necessarily set up so that a group of people called Nigeria can receive services or goods in their ultimate interest. I think that what we have tried to do is to take a template that was not meant to serve us and make it serve us. That said, is the civil service designed to serve the people? The answer, unfortunately, is no. The civil service was designed to serve the masters. And that orientation, that perspective needs to be amplified so that we can go back to saying what structure serves the people.
Please
And
continue.
until we go back, for instance, and really carefully think about it, if you think about the civil service at federal, state, or local level, the question is, how does it serve the people? You know, we still talk about the fact that the legal system or the criminal justice system has not delivered service. The healthcare system has not delivered service.
Mm.
The infrastructure network system has not delivered service. The port system has not delivered service. None of the systems set up is working optimally the way that we would like for it to work because it wasn't really set up to serve the people. It was set up, in my estimation and assessment, to serve a set of guys who were done with the country and had left. So the difficult question is, if we agree that the system was set up to serve a certain interest, we need to now re-engineer a system set up to serve the people and the interest of the people.
Thank you. In fact, I do not need to ask the other question that relates to this because I was going to ask you that how do we change the narrative? And when you were concluding, you did mention that we have to set up a system that works for us, not the foreign system that we are currently running with. Okay, so that said, we had a feedback uh, after our last episode that had to do with getting the power backs from the elders. And from our viewer, the feedback was there is a need to drive educational system in nation building and national reorientation because the country is presently not raising youths who have skills, focus, knowledge, morals, capabilities, and dedication required in running a successful society. Starting with making subjects like government and history compulsory at primary school and secondary school levels will be very appropriate. What is your view about this perspective, the perspective of the viewer, of the commentator?
There's merit to it. Um, it is popularly said that if you don't know where you're coming from, you have no idea how you got where you currently are, and you don't have the benefit of hindsight to reverse engineer some of the things you're dealing with now, and it's difficult to set into the future without that perspective. It's true that we need to strengthen education to give us good historical perspective so that we can learn and not repeat the errors of the past. Also, we need to set up a forward looking educational system that helps us solve the problems of today and the problems of tomorrow. And I know that two things can happen at the same time. Two things can be true at the same time. While we are learning the past, we have a curriculum that helps us master the present and master the future. And it is that delicate balance that it is the task of leaders of today to achieve. Because if we are going to be competitive now and in the future, we cannot have a curriculum solely based on knowing the past. And we have to be honest with ourselves as to where we are, the resources we have to achieve it, and the preconditions that help us achieve that. So we find ourselves in a really tricky but interesting crossroads as a nation. And we need leaders that understand these nuances, to carefully understand where to make investments, what strategic capabilities to develop, and what they mean for us now and in the future. Thank you.
Amazing. You did justice to that question. Thank you very much for your input. My next question before I yield the floor to Balkis will be I will not be exaggerating by agreeing with you that you are a lover of local products because during your introduction, you did make mention of something like you're a Nigerian, full-fledged Nigerian. So it would be very inappropriate for me to
Yes.
now be asking you, do you believe in local products? So my question, let me tweak the question, would be, how is the cost, what exactly is the cost of paralysis in patriotism in Nigerians towards locally produced manufactured products. Do you want me to come again? Or did you get that?
No, no, no. I got it. And I thank
Okay.
you for that question because it is at the core of why I'm proud to be Nigerian. You see, if you do not see value in what you have, it is difficult for someone else to help you see value in what is yours. Most of the things that we have come to see and appreciate and almost kill ourselves for are the things that other people have been able to honestly value and expertly communicate the value. So we can talk from now till forever about the Chinese concept of value, or the Japanese concept, or the American, or the Australian, or even European values. When you listen to the way they talk about themselves, and they talk about their food, and they talk about their culture, and they talk about their technology, you see, there is honest admiration for these things. But when you listen to a typical African, he's not proud of their own name. The African is afraid or embarrassed of their food. They are afraid or embarrassed of their fashion and clothing. If not that Afrobeat is popular, some people would, I grew up in a time where listening to Nigerian music as a young person was not fashionable. Someone will say, "What are you listening to Nigerian music for? When you can listen to all those guys abroad." If you don't honestly value what is yours, nobody can value it for you. And when you value something, you speak about it differently. So the task for us now is to go back and say our asho okay, our efo and afang, and egusi and amala, and our dresses, and our cultural events, and our language, and all of those things. They are resources for us to mine. That people can travel from all over the world to come and see us get married in our culture, not waste time doing white wedding when we can do our traditional wedding. You see, we have been sold a lie that our culture is inferior, and we are killing ourselves to adopt the foreign culture. We must sell the beauty of our culture, our food, our greeting, the way we marry, how we speak, how we relate, and make that the cornerstone of what we are. And that ties back to the very first question. When we elevate our culture, we strengthen our identity, and we allow people to make up their minds what Nigerians truly are. Because deep down, we have an identity. We just need to showcase it so that the world know that Nigerians are awesome.
Oh my goodness. I'm speechless. Speechless. Thank you so much, Aniekan. Over to you, Balkis. I yield the floor to you.
I I was expecting so much from this conversation, but right now I am getting way more than my expectation from this conversation. And I want to say thank you for beating all odds. For I don't know, the thank you will still come at the end. But first, just take these flowers, and this is me saying thank you, Aniekan, for coming live with us today, for sharing yourself, and for being so authentic in your perspective. Because a number of people would have talked about the fact that this is going on YouTube. Everybody in the world is going to see it, and they just decide to shrink their authenticity just to fit into a particular perspective. But I mean, you just gave me a validation for something I've been thinking to even do about my wedding, and I'm happy that yes, I can say that. And I want to say that I was in a meeting, a close knitted meeting with the founder of Biggie. That's Selima. I think Adejua, that's his surname. But the right food company. And he talked about a lot of things. And one thing it's boiled down to was the fact that until Nigerians become able to stand and say, yes, I am a Nigerian, this product is made in Nigeria, and all of that, and give multinationals a run for their money, we are still joking about taking back our country. And this is the same thing you have said in your own words with another example entirely different from the food industry. So thank you. Now, my question: through data, Nigeria falls under the weak state. And
Yes.
it's also regarded as, a lame leviathan. The question is, what is your opinion? Are we really that way? Or we are better than what we have been called?
I'd like for you to please take that question again. Can you take that question again, please?
Okay, so through data, Nigeria falls under the weak state, and we are
Yes.
regarded as the lame leviathan.
Big states.
Weak state, weak state.
Unpack that for me. What do
Okay,
you
you
mean
know
by
what?
that?
I am coming. Give me a minute. You find it in your
Failed?
DM. Check your DM on WhatsApp. You find that question there.
Okay. Okay.
So I've sent that question to you.
Okay.
Weak or failed state.
Weak. Okay. Yes. Yes. I needed to get that clearly. I didn't want to mix it up.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. That again, consistent with your questions, is a wonderful question. Um, you know, when we when we when we adopt certain systems and processes, we are adopting those systems and processes through the lens of the people who develop those systems and processes. The question is, through whose lens are we considered weak? What do we define as weakness? So, are we weak because we have not sent a man to the moon? Or we are weak because we have gone through several dimensions of hardship and we are still strong as a nation? What is weakness? There are nations that have collapsed on less challenges than we have tolerated. But here we are. Is that weak? There are nations that do not have the type of challenges that we have, and they have completely degenerated into chaos. And here we are. There are nations that cannot manage the complexity that we are as a nation. But here we are. There are nations that do not have the cultural diversity that we have as a nation. Here we are. So is that weakness or is that strength? Through whose eyes are we a false giant? I say that we have to define what strength and weaknesses are beyond what certain bodies that are not Nigerians sit together and say this is the condition for a strong state and this is the condition for a weak state. I think that the strength of a nation is in the authenticity of their culture and how they can transmit that culture from generation to generation. That in 2024, all of the Nigerian languages still exist is incredible strength. That tomorrow somebody is going to eat amala and somebody is going to do Ashoke, and somebody is going to do something that happened 200 years ago, is incredible strength. And that because maybe we have not sent a man to the moon, or we don't have electricity for 24 hours, we can argue what strength is. And the challenge now is for us as a nation, again, to define ourselves, not through the lens of development partners, but through who we are as a people. And I will leave it there, Balkis.
When you start to leave your host speechless, are you sure you want to come back to this podcast? Aniekan, are you sure you want to come back to this podcast? There's just so much I can take, you know.
Please.
But then,
I'm just grateful that I had the chance to be here. I thank you guys.
You too. Thank you.
oh my God, oh my God, wow, wow. Thank you for answering because I can say again, I am left speechless, and not because there are no ways to rethought like a Gen Z and all of that, but because many times truths can coexist, and many times some truths are always superior than the other. And you know, when you talked about development partners, I realized that there was something that the MD of 7 Up was saying during the session over the weekend. And he said he has lived in Nigeria for 17 years. But before coming to Nigeria, he actually, you know, lived in various countries because of his kind of job. And he couldn't stay up to, you know, I think he couldn't stay up to 2 years or so in every of the countries he has been to. But he has been in Nigeria for 17 years and even got it. He got a chieftaincy title, being in Nigeria for that time. And I realized that it is in truth that our culture is one thing that has made us stronger and people want to stay around us. People say, oh, when you are with the Yorubas, they can be grateful for like 1,000 years just because you do something of 5 naira to them. People say, oh, the Igbos, their business acumen is 1,000% because they always multiply whatever it is that they have. And people say so many things. And I'm like, if that is not a strength that we have kept over the years, and coming back to this conversation now, our strength is in our culture. And so thank you so much for this reminder. And to everybody who is listening right now, I hope that you take this away.
So, without
Correct.
further ado, let me just go to the next question. I remember
Mm.
vividly that one of the sessions that I had with my alumni, my secondary school alumni, we needed to get data for a particular project. And it was really
Yes.
sad to find out that we cannot, in fact, I love the conclusion of the person. So this colleague of mine is based in the UK, and he said it
Yes.
blatantly. He just said it assertively that we don't have data in Nigeria.
Mm.
And also, I'm wondering what is the essence of the Ministry of Bureau of Statistics in Nigeria?
Mm.
Why
Mm.
are they robbing us of their responsibility of providing us with accurate data? So, what can we do about this? Are we not yearning for data enough? Are we not making them accountable to the noble citizenry enough? Or what is it that is making them to fly away with an act of irresponsibility, so to say, by providing us with accurate data to work with?
Thank you for that question, Oluwakemi. And
You're welcome.
I would like to tie this back to how we started. This is a question of the civil service. The question is, who does that data serve? Was the Bureau of Statistics set up to serve the people or set up to serve the government?
Hmm.
So if it were set up to serve the government, is the government complaining? So we now need to ask ourselves, can we re-engineer the you know National Bureau of Statistics to serve the people? And what does a bureau that is supposed to serve the people look like? Where should data come from? Data should come from the wards and the local governments
Yeah.
within the states that now form the national data, isn't it? So the purpose of something defines how it is set up. And so we must remember that if the MBS was set up to serve the people, it would be structured differently. But the political class that it was set up to serve are not complaining. And if you've heard of any complaint from a government agency, department, or ministry, please let me know. So the people who the bureau was set up to serve are happy.
Aniekan, this is deep. This is absolutely deep. We need to, meaning that we need to go back to the drawing board
We
and
must.
customize what works for us as a
The,
country.
the purpose, correct. Purpose. Was it designed to serve the people or was it designed to serve the masters? And it is in purpose that you understand design. It is not the other way around. What is a process, system, tool designed to do? And once you define it, you can begin to solve the problem, potentially.
Meaning that our judgment thus far, with respect to the ministries or the parastatals and their failures in their responsibilities, have been very absurd. We are
Unfair, unfair to put it mildly, it has been unfair to say the least.
thank you
Because
so
we are
much.
judging the monkey's ability to swim
Mm,
against his ability to swing on trees.
amazing. Thank you so much, Anieka. Thank you so much. So my next question to you, Aniekan, before I yield the floor to Balkis, will be: you're Nigerian, a full-fledged Nigerian. What do you think? Because I've been hearing this word a lot, and I keep wondering, and that's why I'm going to throw this question at you: that Nigerians are not asking for too much. Nigerians are not asking. Okay, so as a Nigerian yourself, what do you think Nigerians want, and what do you think our country needs?
Ah, you know, again, another difficult question. I will start by saying that Nigerians are a sophisticated group of people. And I mean
I,
that with the utmost sense of respect. And when you are speaking to or looking to deal with a sophisticated group of people, it is important that you know how to drill to the real fundamental issues. For so long, we have tried to define the Nigerian and what they want. And we have used different lenses to take a stab at it. But I would say perhaps one of the ways to know the Nigerian and understand their need is to study the Nigerian. At heart, who is a Nigerian? How would we describe one? Because it is in these questions that we can begin to have an understanding of who we are and what we want. But I would say specifically to your question that Nigerians are people that are deep and wide and vast and far. Nigerians are people who, in poverty, you can find joy. and you are confused at where that is coming from. Nigerians are people that, even in the midst of chaos and madness, they care for each other and are doing the best they can to carry themselves out of the situation they find themselves. Nigerians are a people difficult to put in a box. And if we are going to deliver what they want, our focus has got to be leaders that have the subtle calmness and sophistication to understand that complexity and expertly manage it. Because you will see a poor man that has pride. Because I am hungry, I will not disrespect myself. And you will see a rich man that has humility and say, forget money. Life is more than that. And you will see a powerful man that will bring himself and connect with his people. These are things we see. And these are the ingredients that we must piece together in defining who Nigerians are and what they want. There is no definition yet. There is a process of discovery. Thank you.
I love the fact that you said, and I agree with you, that we are truly sophisticated people. You know, other countries, African countries, all over the world, they want to have something to do with Nigerians. We are
Exactly.
peculiar.
Oh
We
my God.
are we
You
are
look
not
like that.
proud. We are not proud in nature, but we are proud of who we are.
Exactly.
We have a beautiful aura around us.
Yes.
Wherever we step to,
Yes.
we
Yes.
determine the tune.
Yes.
So thank you so much for emphasizing this. And on this note, I'm going to yield the floor to Balkis.
Thank you, Oluwakemi.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us today. But in all honesty, I'm not sure if I want to bring you back to this podcast. No, no, no. But then
I am glad you considered me.
it has been very insightful. The last, I can't say how many minutes, I've lost track of that time, has been short. The answers has been short, but they penetrate. I mean, what we have planned for this episode is actually what it should be. So thank you for that. Now my question is, at any point of this whole journey, either in the present or in the future, or in the middle, are you planning to run for any political office? And if yes, what sector? And if yes, there is a
Okay.
sector, what are your top three agendas in office?
All right. The first question is yes. And there is a timeline for that.
Okay.
I have 7 years to be as impactful as I can be in my profession, to learn as much as I can about the nation, and to build the networks that are relevant. Because when I want to run to win. Now, you talked about priority areas. From the way I sound, you can tell that I have a strong foreign policy disposition. The way Nigerians are treated globally, are viewed globally, and are understood globally has got to be carefully curated and masterfully communicated. So foreign policy is priority for me. Number two, economically, the way we interact with the global markets. I said a lot about our culture. And one of the things that we must be able to do is to recognize, quantify, and harness the economic potential of our culture. Tourism is a sector that not many people speak on in a sophisticated manner. And we are going to hit the nail on the head commercialize our culture, and drive value. Finally, we have the biggest population of young people anywhere, and sports is a sector that we can make a killing on with the right resource mobilization. I have mentioned three areas that are not popular, they are not common, but as far as I am concerned, they are low hanging fruits that can turn us from third world to first world under 40 years. Thank you.
Again, Luakemi, let's relook at our next invitation to Aneka. Thank you.
Yes, I was good. My gut was, oh my.
Thank
I
you.
love this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. So my
And I hope
final.
that I get all the support I need when the time
Oh
comes from you
yes.
guys.
Oh
Yes.
yes. You are our own people, and these are reference points in those 7 years.
Yeah.
These are reference points.
Mhm.
These are tools to train people with. A number of things goes on in my head whenever I'm having these conversations, and one of them is, so if I tell some set of students to go listen to this episode, bring out work work stuff from it, like create like a workbook and tell you these are your assignments, do this, do that, curate data on this, and look at all of the things this person talked about. Where can we start as young people and start to spread our tentacles? So I do not take any of the guests and their contributions for granted, because it is actually a pointer to what those coming behind are not seeing, those in the front have seen. And if we can bring these two together at a point where they intersect, we can get to where we want to be faster. You said in under 40 years. So that means that we can do what we have not done in 60 years in other 40 years if we have the right information
Correct.
and we do the right implementation.
Absolutely.
So, I
Absolutely.
mean, this is phenomenal. Now, my final thing is, any parting words for Nigerians, for Nigeria, for everybody involved?
I don't want Nigerians to feel that difficulty is domiciled in Nigeria. There's a false narrative that things are hard only in Nigeria, there are difficult times only in Nigeria. And if I go abroad, it's all roses and flowers and dandelions. It's not true. Anywhere in the world, there are challenges. What the people outside have done is to understand their challenges and try to address them. And that is what we must do. We are strong, smart, admirable, sophisticated, capable of anything. We just need to focus the right way and make the right input effort. We are the diamond of nations in this world, and we just need someone to make it shine. Thank you.
Shine! Oluwakemi, please let me yield the floor to you to say thank you to our guests and to our viewers.
Yes, I've had a wonderful time, and I want to believe that our viewers have also had a wonderful time. Not just viewing, but I've learned a lot. Thank you so much, Aniekan, for sharing your time with us. In fact, let me put it in a proper perspective, for sharing your life with us, because this time that you have shared with us, you can't go back to it. But it's a time of value. You have shared from your wealth of experience, you have shared from your depth of knowledge and of wisdom. And on this note, we want to say a very big thank you to you for honoring our invitation and for spending this time with us. Thank you very much. It's really, we've been looking forward
Thank you.
to you, so that just to let you know how important this session is to us, and we are very excited that you've got to share it with us. So thank you very much. And
Thank you.
on this one, I want to say
I really
thank you to our
appreciate it.
viewers as well. So over to you,
Thank,
Balkis, as you give your parting word.
Thank you so much, every single person who has taken the time to watch this. And to Aniekan Joseph, you have been a leader from afar, and then finally getting to meet you in the capstone group. You became a leader that was close by, and finally getting to actually learn from you in a state where you are not prepared for the questions, you do not even know what was coming. You just showed up and you shut it down. I say thank you. You killed it. And so thank you very much. We are grateful to have had your time.
thank you.
We are grateful
Thank
to
you.
have had, to drink from a wealth of knowledge, experience, thought process, perspective, and everything anybody can think of for a young leader. So thank you so much for doing that with us. And
Thanks.
we say thank you so much. Everybody who will get to listen to this, who will get to hear this, who will get to pick something whose life is going to be changed just because Aniekan came live and he shared his truth, and that truth resonated with them, and they decided to implement on this truth. Thank you so much to you all. And from all of us at the
Thank you very
Awokilumo
much.
Nation, and from all of us at the Awokilumo Podcast, the team, which is a subsect of the Awokilumo Nation, of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance class of 2024, we say thank you so much. Aniekan said to shine. Please do with everything that you have in your own little ways. Please make sure to do that. Shine, because we are the diamond of the African race and we need to do our best to shine. Thank you guys. Do not forget to watch every of our episodes on our YouTube channel and also on our Spotify account. You can always check for the Awokilumo podcast anywhere. And when you're searching for us on YouTube, you find SPPG Awokilumo. On Twitter, we are the Awokilumo. And trust me, you are going to find lessons, learnings from different students of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance that resonate with being the unconventional leader that we have been prepared, we have been born, and we are working towards becoming. And until the next time we get to have these conversations again, and that's going to be in season 2, I mean Balki Samzat and my beautiful co-hosts.
Oluwakemi Oyedeji, thank you so much for your time, for believing in us and staying tuned to watch our channel. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Kemi. Thank you,
Thank you.
Balkis. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.